Okay, everybody. Today I'm going to explain to you something called the four-part thesis structure. I'm going to answer the questions, what is it, why use it, and most importantly, how do I use it? So, what is it? The four-part thesis is a structure to introduce an argument in writing. So, often in social studies, we're going to make arguments. For example, in class right now, we're working on Alexander. Was he a hero or a villain? And to answer that question, we're going to have to consider a number of reasons and the evidence that would back up those reasons. And we're going to have to figure out a way to make sense of all that information. This four-part thesis structure is a great way to do that. It's going to help us make a qualified argument. And by that I mean an argument in which there are two or more even reasonable choices that a reasonable person might come to, or reasonable answers. And there's maybe a number of reasons and a lot of evidence to look at. In a qualified argument, usually the answer is not black and white. It's somewhere in the middle between two or more possible options. And we have to carefully look at all the evidence that we have. And we might find that we feel like the answer is somewhere 60-40 or 70-30 on a spectrum. But this structure will help us very precisely make the argument we want to make, even taking into account the evidence that supports another answer. And it's going to help us do that in a really precise and intelligent way. Okay? Now, how do I use it is the most complicated part of all here. And what I'm going to do over the next couple minutes is show you a skeleton of the four-part thesis structure. I'm going to ask you at that point to pause the video and write down the structure so you have it on a page called 4-part thesis video notes. And I am going to then show you a finished thesis statement using the structure. And then finally I'm going to go back and explain how each of the blank places on the four-part thesis structure skeleton are filled in to use this thing effectively. So here we go. Okay, here it is. Although blank, comma blank. Certainly, comma blank. However, comma blank. Thus, comma blank. This is the basic skeleton for this structure. So at this point, I would like you to pause the video and copy down this skeleton at the top of your page called 4-part thesis video notes. Go ahead. Okay, by now you have copied down the basic structure, and now I'm going to show you a finished one, and then we'll go back and fill it in. So here we have a little thesis statement that I have written up about apples or oranges, which is the better fruit snack. So here's what I have done. I have written, although apples are a tasty treat, oranges are a better snack option. Certainly, apples have that great crisp and juicy appeal. However, oranges come with their own protective cover. They can be eaten one segment at a time, and they have an amazing citrus flavor. Thus, oranges are the superior fruity snack. Okay, so there it is. In 4 sentences, I have explained sort of what is the problem here, why there are some reasons why, or why there is at least one reason why my second favorite choice could be accepted as the answer, but then more reasons why my first favorite choice, oranges, should be considered the best fruit snack. And finally, I have really clearly at the end stated exactly how I think about this matter. So here is sort of the key words that go into the 4-part thesis structure. You can see that just like on my blank, I have although, and then I have a statement which states my 2 choices. Apples are a tasty treat, comma, oranges are a better snack option. Then I have certainly, and I list one reason why apples could be considered a great snack option. Then however, and then I have a few reasons why oranges are awesome. And finally, thus, which is the beginning of my sentence about really where I stand, crystal clear on the issue. Okay? So back to our blank. and I'll just briefly, before we're finished, go through and place some more information into this, and you can do this as we go on your own page. So although I'm going to use 2 equals my second favorite choice, and information about it, and 1 equals my favorite, or the answer I'm going to give. Okay? So, although 2, comma 1. In this sentence, I basically state the choices that I have and just sort of introduce what's about to happen. And that's where I said, although apples are good, oranges are better. Okay? Next, I have certainly, and I'm going to put in reasons why somebody would support number 2. Okay? I am anticipating another argument when I do this, all right? And so this is saying I'm a reasonable person and I have considered the reasons why the second favorite choice could be a good choice. Next I have however, and then I have reasons for number 1, okay? Reasons why the first choice I have made, the one that I am ultimately going to answer, has better reasons to support that choice, okay? Reasons for 1. And finally, thus, and this is where I say, thus, clearly number 1 is the best answer in this case, okay? So that's how this works. Although 2, comma 1, certainly reasons for 2. However, reasons for 1. Thus, comma 1. Now, in this thing, I have introduced the argument. I have not discussed evidence, which would be specifics, such as statistics or exact events that happened in specific places to specific people, or things like that that are really going to support the reasons I listed. I have no evidence in here, and in class on Wednesday or Thursday, we'll talk a little bit more about where we put the evidence. But just briefly before we go, I'll say this. You could put evidence following your reasons. For example, you could put in evidence that supports reasons for 2 in several sentences here. You could insert those sentences right there. And then you could put more evidence over here that backs up your reasons for 1, and you'd have one giant paragraph, and it would be pretty well organized. And if you're just getting your head around this structure, that might make sense. However, if you are a really good writer, and later in your life when you use this as the beginning of a longer paper, you're going to see that the evidence goes into further paragraphs down the line. So what this structure really is, and the way you're going to use it through most of your career here at Peak to Peak, is as the first paragraph in a several paragraph essay that would make an argument and then use evidence to support that argument to make a really persuasive case for your argument. So that's it. Just one last thing. Make sure you write down the secret code, which is 42, under your video notes, and circle it or highlight it. Just have the secret code, okay? And I will see you in class on block day. Bye.